To be honest with you, I didn't think I needed to make a video. I know you saw the same video I saw. I watched it about 9 different times. And I know you know what I'm going to say on this matter. But I have to get some thoughts out here. Because we are now living in a world where the United States is isolating itself from every single one of their allies. What happened today, and you can go back on my TikTok and watch this, it was supposed to be a hopeful day. The United States and Ukraine are working on something that could equally benefit each other. The United States getting billions of dollars worth of rare minerals for a fraction of a price. Ukraine opening up a new industry, security guarantees potentially in the future. And now any kind of peace with the United States is gone. At least that is what Donald Trump said in Truth Social. And like, we're living in a world right now, and I'll read that for you in a second, where you have every world leader standing up for Ukraine. Because Zelensky was the third, either prime minister or president, that visited him just this week to say, hey, you need to do the right thing here. And like yesterday, we had Trump that somehow, oh, well, Zelensky is not a dictator. I didn't say that. Is he going to forget what he said today? So we're seeing like this. That meeting happened. J.D. Vance berated Zelensky, said all these things that were not true. Then just him and Trump together started berating him. Zelensky still wanted to have peace talks after that, even though they embarrassed him on the world stage, said horrible things to him, things that were not true, bringing up the $350 billion, you forcing people to fight. Even though they said all of these horrible things, Zelensky still wanted to work things out. The White House kicked him out. They protested. They said, no, we can still work. No, you can't. And then he left. Then Trump went online and said, we had a very meaningful meeting today in the White House. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I've determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations, meaning that the involvement with the United States is more towards Russia, helping them than Ukraine. He says, I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the White House, the United States of America, in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. Zelensky never yelled. He never screamed. He was trying to correct the things that J.D. Vance was saying. Have you been to Ukraine? Have you seen the way we've done things? No. So you don't know. You know, it's things like that. And because J.D. Vance got checked on the world stage, J.D. Vance got angry. He got angry. And so he then unloaded on Zelensky. There was no point in time where Zelensky said anything insulting to the United States here. This was provoked by J.D. Vance. And here's the thing. Unfortunately, we're so divided here in the United States that when this happened, even though the entire world is saying, wow, what J.D. Vance did and Trump did was wrong. Even Russia. There was Russian presenters that went, wow, never expected that to happen. Obviously, they're happy about it, but they never expected it. But you got people here that when Trump says jump, they say, okay, boss, how high? And they're cheering this on as though it's like the best thing that ever happened. When it's not. We're isolating ourselves. And while Trump put that statement out, if you jump over onto Twitter, you've got Zelensky that wrote something that is actually really, really nice. Okay? Because J.D. Vance says he's never thanked Americans, and that's a lie. I mean, Piers Morgan figured that out in 2 seconds. You go online. He says thank you a million times. And so Zelensky put this statement online that reads, and I want to read it for you. It's quite quickly, and I got to get through a lot of tweets because a lot of countries are now putting out in favor of Ukraine saying we support you. He says, thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs a just and lasting peace, and we're working exactly for that. One's a president that is understanding the best he needs to do for his country. Another one's a president that berated an ally on the national level. Do you think allies are going to respect us for this? Do you think they're going to question everything we've ever done? Yeah. This is a problem. America now has a problem to where we've cozied up to Russia and we're now being isolated from all of our what should have been allies. Slam dunks. We support Ukraine. JD, stop. We're supporting Ukraine. Let's start talking about World War III and things like that. It got out of control. Then the White House put two different statements on their website. One titled President Trump, JD Vance are standing up for Americans, in which they talk about a bunch of bogus things that don't even make sense to be in it. They're trying to justify why they berated Zelensky. And then from there, they uploaded a second one just minutes ago. Support pours in for President Trump and JD Vance's America First strength, in which they quote everyone from his cabinet. Okay, because, they were going to stand up against him. And then a bunch of very pro-Trump senators and representatives. If you're saying to yourself, wow, hasn't countries done this in the past? Whatever happened to them? Yes, Russia. We're taking pages out of the Russian playbook here. Now, there's a lot of things I could say in this here. And I've been reporting for 7 hours straight, and I'm physically exhausted to the point to where I've got horrible migraines, and I will tell you that my brain itself is like on fire. But I want to leave you with this. I wrote this, and I'm hoping that, I don't know what country you're watching this in. I don't know if you're American or European, if you're Asian. I don't know where you're watching. But this is my message to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. From someone who's been to Ukraine, a Ukrainian wife, family in Ukraine, who's been covering this war since day one, who's been going to Ukraine since 2015. This is what I have to say. To the Ukrainian people, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You're not alone. We stand with you. No matter what was said in the Oval Office today, millions of Americans believe in your fight for freedom, your courage, and your resilience. We know what you're fighting for. The sacrifices you make every day, the fathers and mothers leaving their children to defend their country, and families torn apart, the innocent lives lost. All of it matters. You're not just fighting for your land, but for your freedom itself, for the right to live in peace, for the right to exist. And despite what some leaders might say or might do, know this: America is not just its government. It's its people. And the people stand with you. We remember Bucha. We remember Mariupol. We know all of the cities that Russia burnt down to the ground, destroyed every square inch, the millions of Ukrainians that had to be taken away because why? Russia destroyed everything that was theirs for generations. We will not forget any of this. We will stand with the people, and we stand with you. Support for Ukraine is not a political thing at this rate. It's for standing up for what's right. Russia is the aggressor. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia is killing civilians. Not just then, they're doing it now. Every single day, Russia is terrorizing Ukrainians. And to not stand with Ukraine means you're an asshole. I learned something in football. My coach always said to me, you could be the greatest person ever, but if you hang out with assholes, you'll always be associated as an asshole. And that's what's happening. Ukraine, I need you to keep staying strong. I need you to keep fighting, because at this very moment, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what Putin's going to do next. We don't know if support for Ukraine from the United States when it comes to military supplies will continue. But I want you to know, we see you, we hear you, and we're never going to stop supporting you. I'm never going to stop supporting you. I'll make sure your voice is heard on every platform, making sure that every single person in this country understands that being with Ukraine is the only way. It's the only way to make sure that Russia does not do what they did to you to any other country. Because you're fighting for more than just your land and your freedom. You're fighting to keep Europe free. You're fighting to keep America out of war. You're fighting every single day to make sure that Russia never does this again. And every single person should be thanking you. And you've thanked America more than enough with physical messages and with your bodies, with the thousands of Ukrainians that have been killed trying to make sure that this freedom around the world is still there. Because yes, we can give you the weapons, but without you guys giving the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, those weapons don't mean anything. So thank you, Ukraine. Thank you for fighting for us. Thank you for fighting for our freedoms and our future. Because if it wasn't for you guys standing up to Russia, we'd be having a very hard conversation right now.